Good morning again, everyone. So it's Sunday, and you're probably sleeping in. That's fair enough. In fact, it was kind of dark here today in This afternoon. It's the 26th of March, and I thought, I wonder if there was daylight saving has come in or summertime's come in. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's the weekend, so you're allowed to be lazy and all that sort of stuff. And what's happening on the GGR front? Ian's still at anchor, enjoying the solitude and quiet and peace and everything. Hasn't moved at all, so that's kind of interesting. And they're still battling it up in the Doldrums. But anyway, we had quite a few questions, and I get quite a few comments. I see what's going on online, and just thought I should clarify a couple of things. First of all, with Guy Waits, that's not the main one. The main one's Simon, but Guy Waits. The reason he's not in the race any longer is that he called into Cape Town to remove his barnacles and so on. So he moves over to Chichester class, okay? And it's sort of like a one-strike situation. So not in the rankings when you're in Chichester class, you're still in the event and you carry on. And the next thing that happened was, sadly, Guy wasn't able to make the gate closing in Hobart, which closed on the 31st of January. So that was a sort of second strike. So it means you're then out of the event even. You're not qualified as a Chichester entrant. So that's why Guy's sort of still sailing. He's a week or so behind Cape Horn at the moment. He'll get around, but we still sort of talk about him, but we can't have him officially in the event any longer. Simon's situation is quite strange, quite unique, in that he's a Chichester entrant because he stopped up in Portamont to make repairs and resupply and have a bit of a break because he had some storm damage to his hydrovane wind vane. So he's absolutely in Chichester class again. Now, when you're in Chichester, you're out of the rankings. You cannot qualify for any trophies or any timelines. You don't even have a race within Chichester class. You're basically sitting there and having some fun sailing home, and you complete a one-stop solo circumnavigation, which is really impressive, okay? And it achieves a lot of the goals that you originally set out to do. And the reason we put that in as a concept of the race, the Chichester class, is because making the effort to go, the whole objective is a solo, non-stop, unassisted circumnavigation, and it truly is unassisted. It's not like some of the other round the world races where as soon as you have a problem you just get online and you have all sorts of people helping you, and you're on internet all day talking to your girlfriends, wives, family, all that sort of stuff, and that's all psychological advantages, all sorts of things. I mean, it's as unassisted as we can possibly make it for the GGR. So Simon's now in a situation where he may well be the first boat home. In fact, I'd be surprised if he's not, in a strange sort of way. But that doesn't mean he's actually won line honours for the GGR, not at all. It just means that he's shown himself to be a very impressive sailor and doing wonders for Howden's, his sponsor, and all that sort of stuff. And it'll be fantastic to see him, and he'll get a huge welcome if he turns up here first boat and all the rest of it. But there's only 3 people that are actually in the running for GGR trophies and achieving the original ultimate goal of a solo non-stop unassisted race. So that's what happens there. So yes, he could be the first boat home, but I wouldn't call it line honours in the GGR because it wouldn't be. We're going to I'll do the question and answers today. There's a lot of questions there, 30 odd bits and pieces. So that's pretty cool. And I just wanted to get that clear for now. So we'll go back to the tracker now, get into the main game. And also I meant to say yesterday I was going to do the video replay of the tracker, which I'll actually do today. I forgot about it, and talking about currents and bits and pieces. So here's Ian tucked up in his little anchorage there. He had some other boats around and bits and pieces. So he's still sitting there. So not a lot to talk about other than the fact there's a lot of wind around him. And you can see he's sitting in this little wind shadow. So when he's ready, he can take off and motor the last 15 miles and start things happening. So that's pretty straightforward. I should mention also that if we look back here, the ocean race is boring down on Cape Horn. The ocean race is the development of the Whitbread. It went to the fully crewed race. It went to the Volvo race, and now it's the ocean race. And there's 4 Imokas that are getting ready to fly around Cape Horn. And it's quite fun to watch. It's a complete contrast to the GGR. It's really that argument in itself, the contrast or the speeds and what they're actually doing is really nuts. It's just fantastic and quite exciting to see. Anyway, get back to GGR, and up here we've got Jeremy in this whole sort of confused area of weather that we talked about yesterday. Only doing 3.2 knots at the moment, and he only did 64 nautical miles in the last 24 hours. So he's having to probably get very little sleep. Wind direction changing all the time. It's gusting, it's backing off, and changing 360 degrees around the compass to a degree because he's in the middle of this sort of confused area. So not sure what to talk about, but let's, in terms of, what's he going to get, just get rid of this sort of this system to start with, and then it'll settle down. So it's about to come up from the south, and that'll give him a kick, but it'll blow him. We want to try and keep him away from this central bit here. And it looks as if it's just going to, once again, he's just going to run along the bottom edge of it. That's forming up, intensifying, but he's actually in a pretty reasonable position now because that's over the next, it's actually over the next 24 hours. So he may get a bit of this, but it's not too bad. He should be able to stay away from the worst of it, put it that way. And then he's got another confusing bit behind him here. This is 2 days out. Another trough coming through between the two systems, and then eventually a northwesterly. Hopefully that then holds in. So he's currently, let's just see here. What do we got? Well, okay, yeah, he's still in the 40s. So he's still in the roaring 40s technically. So it doesn't really settle down till he gets further north. But even then, there's a few strange things happening. So more frustrations, no real worries, but a lot of work. So he's not going to make a lot of forward progress on the run line for now, but no complaints. Okay, so that's Jeremy. Captain Goog, he's doing a bit of a hard time with it as well. 37 miles in the last 24 hours, which is a bit frustrating for him. But he's eventually going to get to those trade winds, but I'm not sure how soon. 37 miles is not... Got to remember to put the weather back. He's got headwinds there now. So he did have a light patch, obviously, and now he's got the breeze again. They had that light patch go over him. He's got the breeze again, but he's going to have to tack across. So it's not quite there at the moment. 1.5 knots. Yeah, he should be doing the other way around. He should be on starboard tack now, tack across, because this is the start of the trade winds here, which we talked about yesterday. He'd get there. So that's a bit unusual. But again, this is just the impression of what we have on the computer. It may not be exactly what he's getting, because that is showing about 15 knot easterly wind, maybe northeast for him, because rolling down this way, and he should be doing pretty well in that, but he's not moving yet. So then it gets pretty boring and mundane for the weather. Hopefully it stays easterly or southeasterly for a while, but he's not quite there. He's got this down bit, so he's going to still hold a northeasterly, so he should be coming across in a northwesterly direction when he gets moving again, but for whatever reason he's not moving yet. And then no big pressure system, no big storms, anything like that, but it's all trade winds now. He's basically up there. He's just, the further he gets north, the more the wind will swing to the east. But in the meantime, for the next couple of days, he's got light work of it. And wow, that's interesting. The trades are softening off for sure. He's got to get through that. So the distance there for to the other side, 300 miles. So, yep, he's going to be going slow for the next few days. So that's Michael's lot. I think we'll just go straight up here. It's the right size scale. Come back to it. And Kirsten seems to be pretty much holding her own because they're all going slow. Simon's the one that's caught the weather again and making the gains. So Kirsten's doing 2.6 knots, 39 nautical miles in the day. I'll pick this up here. So not a huge distance, but there is a bit of breeze coming in behind her by the look. And Abelish is pretty much the same, 1.2 knots, but he's only done 8 nautical miles. He's been parked. Now, Abelish rang last night. A couple of times last night, we detected that his YB3I, which is the satellite transmitting system that puts the positions out every 4 hours to get you onto the tracker, his battery was down to less than 30%. So we told him, hey, Abelish has battery problems on board. He has power generation problems on board, but he's quite prepared to use what little power he has coming in from the solar panels to keep going. It's not quite dark ship, but he's certainly not rich on power. And so he's my screen just went down thick. That my battery's going flat on the computer. so anyway, he charged it all up again, and he's back on track. It went up to 90%, and he's fine. But he hasn't been going anywhere fast. Now Simon, on the other hand, has actually made some reasonable progress, 77 nautical miles. So he's taken distance on Abelish as well as Kirsten, and it's pretty obvious to see why. He's holding the breeze longer, and now this bridge that we talked about for Abelish has disappeared, but it's strengthening in the middle here. So Simon will keep sailing. He's got the most breeze apparent here for at least probably another day if that holds. But anyway, let's just see what happens. I'm just bouncing this through now, yeah, it's pretty much the same. So you can see Kirsten and Abelish are lacking breeze, but Simon's got plenty of breeze. That's going to take him right through up here. They'll be in line soon. That's wow. Okay, 26. So that's 12 hours. Here we go for. So that's 24 hours ahead. And Simon's had breeze all the way. Kirsten's got very little. Abelish has got a little bit. So Abelish will pick up a bit again. And Simon's on the winning position right now. So that's kind of cool in terms of weather. What's happening next? Kirsten's getting a bit of a mishmash. So's Abelish. Too hard to predict. And Simon's going to run out of it. He's finally going to run into the doldrums. If Kirsten's lucky by then, she might have made a bit more progress and hook up here, but you never know. Simon's got, again, to give you a size perspective, how wide is the doldrums looking? That's only 210 miles. It's not too bad if you're moving. If you do 370-mile days, you're across in 3 days, but it's still going to be slow and frustrating. So that's probably about all I can suggest for that. And okay, we'll go through here. We'll take it along just to see what it looks like. The doldrums. Now we're into coming into 3 days ahead. Look what's happened here with Abelish. He's got breeze. Kirsten's the trade winds have moved away from her a little bit, but there's a bit of breeze popping up there. It's all over the place, so you can see it's hard to predict. Oh, look at Abelish. Wow, that's kind of interesting. Abelish might be in a good position here for 3-4 days ahead. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Now, what I'm going to do now is, well, first of all, I'll talk about the currents. In fact, we'll walk it through. Temperature-wise, boom, that's hot. That's really hot. So just to get a look at the scale, that's over 30. So it's low 30s there. That's pretty warm. So they'll be sweating. Fortunately, they've got plenty of water. Pressure-wise, we don't need that. Cloud-wise, what's happening? Okay, it is pretty open. Normally, there's a lot more cloud activity here during the doldrums, but that's pretty open. Bit of rain over here, so that's pretty cool. Current-wise, in the doldrums, okay, not a lot happening there. Not a lot affecting. Simon's got a little bit of a head current. Cursor's on the side. You can actually, I'll pick this up a little bit here so you can see what's going on. It's, yeah, Kirsten's got about maybe, if you look at the scale on that, she's probably got 0.6, 0.7 of a knot pushing her sideways. Simon's got about a third of a knot headwind, maybe half a knot headwind, head current rather, and Abelish just got a little bit pushing him out to the side. So not a lot to worry about there. Waves, it'll be pretty calm. Yeah, that's less than a meter. And rain, yeah, there's a bit of rain here. So, but they don't need water now. Everyone's topped up. Simon got his in Portamont. Abelish could always do a little bit more, but I think he's looking really well as well. They've all got enough to go through. So we'll come back to do the video replay before my battery goes flat. We'll do a video replay here just so you can see what's happening. Now, the way you do it, this is partly the reason I'm going to do this, is just to show you. And I'm going to go back really small so we can see more of what's going on. Well, it might be too small. Okay, so if we come down to the bottom of the screen here, okay, you'll see you've got this sliding scale. Now, that's going to bring the track backwards. If I start sliding that back, you lose all the colour. See, the boats are all going backwards. Okay, so they're all going backwards right over here to the exclusion zone, including Jean-Luc. Now, if I hit that play button there, so you've got a new sliding scale on the top here now. All right, and this determines the speed of the replay. So in other words, when I replay it back, it's going to give you the speed that the boats are going to move. So if I have it right up here, up the top, that's moving fast. See, they're all starting to move now. And if I speed it up, I'm speeding it up. That's Jean-Luc at the front, followed by Simon in the lead, away in front. Old story getting boring. Bernard Batessi has dropped down into the exclusion zone, and then Simon's got a problem, and then he's going up to Port-a-Mont, and then Kirsten's going up with the Storm with Abelish. Jean-Luc's flying away. Bernard Batessi is rocketing towards Cape Horn. So Kirsten and Abelish are going through there, and I can vary the speed. If I want to slow them down now, I can just slide that back, and it slows them down really slow. Now, the other thing that happens here is you've got the actual time count. You've got the date and time for the exact position of the boat at that time. So you can replay that back and stall it. You can just hit pause like that, and it stops. And so you can work out the exact time that each of the entrants went past Cape Horn or went past a certain area. And at any time, you can hit the boat and get the statistics on the date and time and speed and everything they did. So if you're a statistics person, you can actually replay it. Now, the interesting one now is the interesting one is to watch what happens to watch here. I'm just going to come up and just zoom it in a bit. Watch what happens to Simon when he picks up the trade winds and just bores in on. Oh, that's too far. I'm going to come back here. You'll watch Simon come roaring up from behind as the others are frustrated with their weather. So now, we won't be able to sit. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to hit play again. Hit play there. So they're moving again now. It's probably a little bit slow for me. So I'll just speed them up a little bit. So if you watch Simon here in the red, boring down on the others, on Kirsten and Abelish up there, so you can replay the whole thing. It's quite a bit of fun. And remember, you can do this also for 2018 edition of the GGR. The tracker is still there. You can have some fun. Here comes Simon. Just going to slide this down a bit. Here he comes. Look, the others are just sitting there, and Simon's boring up. Batessi is going across to save his soul in Cape Town. Goog's hanging in there. Now Kirsten parks. She's just about to park there in a minute. And Simon's catching up to Abelish. This might be getting a bit boring in a minute, but I want to take you to the end to get you to real time, and you'll see Simon's just roaring through there. Whoa, that's all pretty cool. And if I want to speed it up now, boom, 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 just speeding it up, speeding it up, speeding it up. There they go, boom, boom, boom. Just about to, that's it, and they're back. So that's how you do the video replay, which can be a lot of fun. And that's really about it for today. It's Sunday, so we've wasted another bit of time. I'll get back here, and we'll see you tomorrow. It'll be Monday, which is the Monday-itis day, so the weekends are fun, eh? We'll see you later. See you tomorrow.